Hi, Epstein with the Morning Flash Update. This update is for Thursday, and we are sitting here on a big day today. All right, first, before we get any further, it is the 22nd of February, 2024, 8:10 a.m. I want to remind you all that today, and we'll get right to this now, we're going to have our live webinar. If you haven't gotten an invite, you're not going to get any more because I'm not mailing anymore. You have to move your cursor to the top up there. You'll see an icon. Sign up and join in. At 12:15 today, p.m., I will open up the webinar. I will start recording at 12:30. I end 20 minutes later. I got questions. You bring your others. You can ask futures questions during the market. That's easy for us. If you have a question, call us at 866-973-2077. Otherwise, just move your cursor to the top and away you go. Now, let's take a look, if we could, at some of the information. Then we'll come to prices. Jobless claims just came in. This is just staying strong as can be. They're down 12,000 to 201. Last week, they were up 4 at 216. And the gains we made last week, we took back a chunk of them in the continuing claims. So as we see people are getting let off in one area, and this is what I said, other tiers of companies are picking these people up. The Chicago Federal Reserve January National Activity Index down a -3. The prior was down a -1.5, so that's gotten worse. We're going to get the preliminary manufacturing and service sector PMIs coming out at 8:45. Existing home sales are going to come out this morning at 9. We get the petroleum numbers at 10 o'clock, and we got a whole slew of Fed speakers today. We got Jefferson, Harker, Cook, and Kashkari all speaking today, so we're going to get a pretty good idea of what they think. But what today was about was, we went home last night. You were up about 8% in Nvidia. You come in this morning, it's up 14.5%. So what happened is just what I wrote in my newsletter. If you understand how this works, or when the Fed FOMC meetings come out and then the press conference, if you think of the time in Asia and Europe, let's assume Europe is typically 5 to 6 hours ahead of us. Asia, 12 hours behind us, whatever that is. People are sleeping in Asia. They wake up, they look at the numbers, they start their buying or selling, whatever they're going to do. As the Europeans then wake up, they look at the numbers in America, they see what Asia's done, and the ball can either go a yin or a yang. So sometimes you start, we were one way, they're the other. What they did last night is more and more kept buying in, carrying this stock to the 760s. Obviously, the weighting is heavy in certain areas. The S&P, and the weighting is heavy in the NASDAQ, and that carries those markets higher. In those markets, you also look to see what's going on in bonds and notes with today's jobless, pretty flat there. Energy prices down a fraction right now. Heating oil, it's time to start really turning your attention. I'm going to switch this over to gasoline because we want to start getting ready for the spring-summer demand in gasoline. In the grain markets, corn stable, wheat a little bit of a bid, but every time you're trying to get up in the beans into the 1180s, which looks to me like a sell zone, the market just backs away from there. The yen is continuing its plunge to the downside, which I like at this point. I'm still bearish that. The euro stalled. Now, we got up, in fact, in the Swiss franc to a number that scared me. And the question is it going to stay up or not? So I'd be watching what they do. The interesting part was the dollar was down. Now, I want you to look at how much the dollar has come off its low. It got to 103.11.5. Do me a favor, please. Take a look at your 18-day average, and I think it's the 100. They're together right there, and you came springing back dramatically. That's an 80-point move in the market. So that just gives you an idea that you got to your key numbers, you held them, and this is the important part of this. So I think that it's now exciting. Now, other than the PCE index at the end of next week, it's clear sailing. We are done with big reports. Earnings reports that come out and have yet to come out, they're not in Nvidia, so that day is over, and now it's back to more normal trading. So I go, whew, I am really happy, survived that, and now where do we go next? Now, the hardest thing is, what do? Yesterday I was telling traders, if you dropped $100 a share in Nvidia, I thought at the lower Bollinger Band, what an opportunity to try to grab it. And I rarely buy Bollinger Bands. I explain it in my research why and what the exception was. Never got near there, so I didn't have to worry about it. But I wanted to get it. Okay, I still got clients on the Spider ETF, 40% long their position, so they got to be happy. They paid for their year of service, that's for sure. With that, I'm Ira Epstein. I will catch you all, I hope, at 12:15 p.m. as I open up the Zoom meeting. And again, we should have a lot of fun with it. It goes very fast. I'll see you.